Hey there, what's up, everybody? This is Fandom Empire Live. We're going to be keeping it real chill tonight, not going to get super formal, not going to get like into a too technical style of recording tonight. Some of us are under the weather, some of us are pressed for time, some of us, like me, are just getting their voice back. So it's just going to be a more casual format tonight as we talk about the newest episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, some stuff that took place during the Super Bowl, maybe some Halloween news if we have time for it, and a few other little bits of this and that. Joining me are Randy, Dustin, Johnny, and Sean for whatever amount of time they have to spare. Um, I'm not even going to do like a rotational style tonight, guys. If you've got something that you want to talk about, please feel free to just chime in. If we overlap, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Um, but I don't know if I have the strength to be able to delegate every piece of the conversation tonight. So I'll present the topics probably when the time feels right to bring up a new topic, and we'll just kind of see where the conversation flows for the next little while. But one of the big things that we wanted to make sure that we talked about, given all of our shared mutual interest in the galaxy far, far away, was the TV spot that took place during the Super Bowl. Sam Elliott's voiceover, the imitation of the classic Budweiser commercials with Tauntauns serving instead of Clydesdales. There were definitely some things that some people found to be really cool, and then there were some other members of the fandom that were kind of upset by it, and we're hoping for more. Um, Sean, I know you said that you had a few thoughts on this. Why don't you kick us off, and then everybody else feel free to chime in after his 2 cents are presented.
So look, let's be crystal clear about one thing. 90% of the fandom, from what I've seen on all forms of social media, fucking despise that thing that they put out yesterday, and for good reason. We are, sorry, I got to do some kindergarten math here. What is it, February the 9th today? So that gives us March, April, May. We are 3 months essentially, 3 months and about a week and a half away from this movie being out. And we've gotten one real piece of marketing the entire time. I had this planned out in a much better way when I wasn't feeling so fucking bad, so bear with me. I even had cue cards that I was going to show on camera, but that'll have to wait. Look, we haven't had a Star Wars movie, a new Star Wars movie, rather, in theaters since 2019. My youngest son wasn't even born at that point. He is now 6. By the time this thing comes out, it'll have been 7+ years since the last theatrical release. There's a movie that comes out next year, Star Wars Starfighter, that Lucasfilm, and not Disney, Lucasfilm people, because that's who handles the marketing, has put out more about that movie, other than there's no trailer for it, but in all other means has put out more about that movie and presented that movie as if it's this big event feature. And, you know, I go back to a wrestling promo, and I don't know if Randy and Johnny will remember this, but I think it was The Rock and Austin, right before Austin's last match. And The Rock's hyping it up, and the fans are going nuts. And he's like, great as this, great as that, great as that. Oh, yeah. And in the other corner, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it feels like that's what, no, forget feels like. This isn't a matter of opinion. It's a matter of fact. And if you don't think so, you're wrong. Usually I don't deal in absolutes because it's the Sith way, but it's exactly what has happened. The movie that's coming out in 3 months should not be the afterthought, regardless if there's any confidence in this thing or not. Zach, you and I had a conversation, brief, but we had one over the weekend about our thoughts on the Super Bowl and the commercialization of it and yada yada. And look, I didn't care for the game. I didn't watch the game. I was driving for probably 90% of it. But there is no doubt there is no bigger time to get more eyes on your product than paying for one of those overly egregious, expensive ads. By the way, 8 figures plus for that whatever it was yesterday with Sam Elliott, who sounded sick. He didn't even sound himself. You could barely make out that it was Sam Elliott. And your choice was to mimic a Budweiser slash, big dick energy pickup truck fucking commercial. It was a glorified fucking spoof that had nothing to do with the movie. Now, I'm sure the most positive Star Wars fan out there, and we know some, who wears the rose-colored glasses and thinks everything is great, is going, oh, yay, Tauntauns, we've seen Tauntauns, hooray, who gives a shit? Are you fucking kidding me? More than $10 million for that fucking thing last night. And that's what you chose to get general audiences, as well as your own hardcore audience, hyped up for a movie. And then, one of the most ridiculous statements we ever heard during the Disney era of Star Wars was when Kathleen Kennedy came out and said, well, one of the reasons we have trouble producing new material at this point is we don't have the advantage Marvel has because we have no source material. I'm sorry, what? Well, let me one-up you here. Let me go to Johnny and I's conversation and pull up this wonderful post. This is from Lucasfilm marketing brand lead Ryan Stankovich. That's a very fitting last name, Ryan. That's about all you did last night is stank. It captured the warmth, humor, and emotional connection between these two beloved characters and was the perfect next step for our campaign as we lead up to their big screen debut this summer. How fucking tone deaf can you be? You just finally made a change at the top. Now, keep in mind, Kathleen Kennedy's still producing this movie and still producing Star Wars Starfighter. And still is actively involved at Lucasfilm. Her handprints are everything. And I'm not blaming Kathleen Kennedy for this either. I'm blaming the whole company. I don't know how you go from fucking Andor last year, a legitimate masterpiece and the best thing that Disney has done with Star Wars, period, to having a movie that we should all be excited about. And all I thought when I pulled over to the side of the fucking road to watch this thing was, I'm genuinely, because I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm going to put myself through this, going to go to my kid's soccer game on opening night, then drop my family back home, and then drive 90 to 100 minutes to pick Johnny up and meet Kieran and some others to go see this fucking thing. And I just pray to God it's not half as bad as what they're doing with the marketing. Because our friend Tommy B said, why is it Disney seems to have no faith in a bunch of these projects that they're releasing on Disney Plus and they're just putting them out there next to no marketing? He mentioned Wonder Man and a couple other projects. I can't think of them. And I'm like, it's the same thing with this movie, dude. Do you not see it? He's like, oh no, I see it. You have a brand such as Star Wars, which yes, does not have the same worth as what it once had. But, and I'm not going to say it's all terrible because I just went and said fucking Andor was a masterpiece. And I have confidence in Starfighter. But you know what gives me no confidence in this movie? Jon Favreau directed that commercial. That's a fact. That came out today. Wasn't directed by some marketing lead or whatever. Maybe they went to Favreau with the idea, but he's the one that directed that. I can't believe how fucking tone deaf and embarrassing this is. And if you are someone who supports that fucking ad yesterday, you are the problem. I'm done. I will exit
You
and listen to you guys.
you good, dude?
That was the very toned down
Did
version. I wanted to be screaming
did
and hands flailing, and I had cue cards, and I can't do it. I even
Quiet,
brought the cue
righteous
cards
indignation
backwards
might
because
have
I
been
didn't
better.
know if the camera was going to do the fucking flip thing or not. So, yeah, I didn't even get to do that. But legitimately, fuck you, Lucasfilm. That's embarrassing.
Quiet anger is often sometimes more fun, and that was definitely one of those. I mean, I can't disagree with a single thing you said. Super Bowl Sunday, I'm at a party with friends. I didn't get to see the trailer until about 12:15 last night, where I could actually see it and hear it. So I watched this thing. It was like 12. I think I sent some message like 12:15, something like that, a.m. last night. I just literally said it. I'd seen nothing. I'd read nothing. No X, no Twitter, no Facebook, nothing. Just run cold, go to YouTube, sit down at my computer, first thing I do. I sent him this message like, what in the fuck was this Budweiser Clydesdale commercial bullshit? Like, it's not... I could understand it if it served a higher purpose. It served no higher purpose. It existed, and that's it. It didn't promise a date for a future trailer. It provided zero hype towards the film's story or anything like that. It's Sam Elliott talking with his deep, amazing voice that he has, and it does nothing. Like, I love Sam Elliott. I'm a huge Sam Elliott fan. But Jesus, what in the fuck was that? It's like if they had done that was like 30-second spot, which still ridiculous. But like if they'd done that, and at the end of it with the Sam Elliott overhang doing the parody of the Budweiser Clydesdale commercial bullcrap, and then come at the end and said trailer drops blank. Whether that's today, whether that's 2 weeks, whether that's a date next month, I don't care, because it provides something that at least allows us to build towards. Like that was just yeah, we're also here sort of experience. Like it did nothing. It did nothing. And that's the biggest problem I had coming out of this, was especially off that first, trailer they dropped, if you can call it that, trailer they dropped a few months ago. Like it didn't do anything. Like we are, and I looked this up since John was talking about it. We are 99 days from the release of this movie to the, specific. I have no idea what the story is. I have no idea, like, even a general idea of what the story is. And, like I saw some people today in other communities, talking about the way Disney... Well, this is just the way Disney's always done things. But it's not. Because, like, the thing, like, there's specific people, like, people were talking, like, I'm not going to name drop, but, like, close friend of the family, the community. They were talking about the 18-2 rule. Like they drop a trailer about a year and a half out, and then they drop another one a couple of months out. Those at least provided story or scenes from the film and context of what was coming. Like, episode 7 is the big one. That's the earliest between, but like you still had the big moment at the end with Chewie and Han, and the we're home moment. Like you had something in each of those trailers that at least gave you something to build upon, something that we could kind of, as a fan base, sink our teeth into and try and, I don't want to say tear apart the movie, but like to try and parse. Maybe this is what it's about. Maybe this is what it's about. Maybe this is what's going on. Why are they there? What's going on here? We have none of that, other than trying to play, Star Wars zoologist and guess all the species. That's the only thing it did us. Like, sure, we could maybe try and infer, well, why are they on this planet with that species? And this, like, none of that. You know, you have to be the nerdy of the nerds to break apart all these individual species with the short glimpse we saw of all of them. Like there weren't exactly a whole lot of I immediately recognized that species in the trailer. It's ridiculous that this is all we're getting. Like, you know, this is a cinematic release and they're treating like Sean brought up Wonder Man. And when he was talking with Tommy about it, like they're treating this like Wonder Man. And it's ridiculous because at least that released trailers and you knew what the story was and you knew who the characters were and you had something that you could sink your teeth into if you were a fan of that. And here we are. It's fucking, you know, we're under 100 days and we know nothing other than it's Mandalorian and Grogu. And to this point, the only human being we've seen is Sigourney fucking Weaver. Like, I have nothing to sink my teeth into here, which is both a blessing and a curse because it has no expectations to live up to because they've given me nothing to expect. Like, that's the only good thing this film has going for it is I have so low expectations that no matter what this is, I'm going to be like, well, I got what I expected. Whether it's the greatest film of all time or the worst film of all time, I got what I expected because I have no expectations, which is in and of itself a detriment to this film. I want to be excited for this. This is fucking Star Wars. And 100 days out, and my expectation level is so low, the fucking base of a Rancor pit is probably higher. I'm done.
I really should have boiled some water for this tea tonight.
Yeah, I watching it, it started at almost 6:30 East Coast time. So for me with the kid, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch as much of the game as I can watch, and then if I can't watch any more, that's fine. So I didn't really get to see much of anything. I saw the ending, and just when the Tauntaun goes down and Grogu touches it, and I was kind of like, "What is that, a trailer?" So I went back and watched it, and I was genuinely shocked that that's what they chose. I was like, "Wait, this is this just like a little teaser before the trailer is going to drop?" Or it was I have no idea what they're thinking. Um, I don't know if they're just going off, okay, it's Mandalorian and Grogu. People know it. They're going to see it. But the fact, even for the Last Jedi in the trailers that they put out and the hype that they built for those in the TV spots, and even Rise of Skywalker after the fallout from Last Jedi, they still did a good job at putting those movies out there, giving you trailers, giving you information, tidbits, something where you're like, okay, this is where we're going. With this, I'm just kind of like, either they have absolutely zero faith in it, which at this point, even if you do have zero faith in it, you got to put something out for people to be able to know what you're actually going to see, other than, oh, it's Mandalorian and Grogu. I have people that are like, wait, what? What is that? The show? They're making another? It's a show? I'm like, another season? Like, no, it's a movie. People don't even know it's a movie. They're just like, oh, we thought it was just another season of Mandalorian and Grogu, and that's starting to seem like, it. I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion that, kind of like with Moana 2, where it was originally going to be a show, a full-on season of a show, and they were like, well, we got to put it out in theaters to make more money. Okay, so we're going to condense all these ideas down and put it into a movie. And then you have a bunch of characters and plots and stuff that are there they're trying to explain because you had a whole season to explain it. Now you're just trying to cram it into a movie. And so I don't know. Like I'm gonna go see it. Sure, I'm hoping it's good. I have zero faith that. Even with, there was a point where Mandalorian was the hottest thing in Star Wars. When that first season came out, it was like, wow, this is going to be different and edgy and something unique. And season 1 and 2 were definitely that, and it got some attention to Star Wars again in the positive light. And then season 3 came out, it was kind of mixed. I wasn't a huge fan of season 3, and then This, it's just kind of like they're just like, yeah, this one's amazing, whatever. Just next, we're gonna sell toys, and it's for kids, and that's fine. It's not for me, maybe, but I'll watch it. But I got no sense of anything from this. It didn't do anything for me at all. Um, and being this close to release, it just seems a tragedy that they're doing it this way, because it's like you're not even giving it a chance.
I had to come back and interrupt Randy before he even started. I just couldn't resist. I'm sorry, dude. And poor Zach, who's struggling with a voice over there, is probably like, shut the fuck up so I can get my 2 cents in and leave.
Zach the laryngitis instead of Zach the voice tonight.
Oh, I like that. Zach the laryngitis. Yeah, Game of Thrones name. So, anyway. Johnny brought up the 18.2 thing, which I saw that post too. It's not a thing. It's not real. It's fabricated. It's fake. It's revisionist history. There's a lot of things that I don't remember, but you know what I remember? Star Wars. Go check it. I guarantee you my track record is fucking great when it comes to remembering marketing for these movies. When everybody else is like, oh no, we got behind the scenes in trivia, I'm sitting here going, yeah, I know my shit. The furthest ever piece of marketing is 13 months. 13 months, people. The Force Awakens teaser prior to The Force Awakens. It came out either Black Friday or Thanksgiving of 2014. So the
It was
18
Black
months,
Friday.
yeah, the 18-month thing, bullshit. Utter bullshit. And the whole, oh, the Mandalorian and Grogu is right on schedule. The people that are part of the fucking problem that make it seem that enable this shit, quite frankly. It's not the same because after that teaser came out for The Force Awakens, or after the first teaser for The Last Jedi, or hell, even The Rise of Skywalker, which had a little bit of a delay in its marketing, you know what they went and did? There was articles in magazines and big Empire stuff and Vanity Fair. And I'm not saying none of that stuff's not coming, but it came a lot sooner than this. The whole idea that this is the norm as the other 5 theatrical releases in the Disney era is revisionist history and clickbait bullshit. And people that are doing this should know better, and they don't. And it really pisses me off. I'm as pissed as fucking poor Dunk was in episode 4. Is there no real Star Wars fans here?
I will jump
Excuse
in
me
just
while I
before we.
stand up and let out a fucking egregious fart that doesn't deserve to be there. My apologies, Zach. I won't do that again. My apologies, Randy. It just really bugs me because that same group of people gets on people for being too negative. And there are people that will just shit on everything. There are people that say Andor isn't Star Wars because it's not fantasy enough. And then they'll come out with another reason to shit on the next project and the next project. I've never felt like we have a show that is like that. I've always felt, whether it's Star Wars or Halloween, another fucking franchise that can't read the room, apparently. And that's all I'll say about that till next week. Fucking idiots. Sorry, Zach. I'm cussing. I know I should be retaining it, but
It's no, dude. This is a chill night. It's just it's it's amusing to me to hear you get this fired up about something because you have not been this fired up in quite some time. So I'm just enjoying the ride.
Before
for all
we,
the shit that
do you
Western,
mind if I just jump in for a second?
yeah,
Just before you go, I just want to clarify something that I pulled up when we were talking about. It's not 18.2, it's 8.2. I misquoted it the first time around, not them. It's 8 months, 2 months. That was
well,
the
I guess
number,
they
not
forgot the
18.
13 months then in the
They
1
do
year.
they do call that out as an outlier. I'll say that. That is specifically mentioned as 1 year, 3 months. Not but everything else is kind of in that 8 months, 2 months with the things with the dates they provide for teasers and just I don't know. I'm sure there are others that we're forgetting, but like in the dates that they list in that, it does follow that formula with the dates provided. And I haven't fact check the dates whether those were first teasers or not, or if there'd been things, but like I personally don't think they're counting things like con teasers and
Right.
things like that, because I feel like those are like mostly in like the like D23 is usually in what, April, May,
Well, they've had a chance to go to a bunch of conventions that all the other movies went to, even for small preview clips, cast interviews,
Mhm.
etc. And there's been none of that, none at all. Which is that's why people are befuddled by this, because they've spent almost no money on marketing, and then we're going to drop 8 figures, but we drop 8 figures on that. It's yeah, I'm fucking passionate about this, and also 8-2. You're saying 8-2 now. I did
Yes.
see fucking 18-2, which maybe there was something for The Force Awakens that dropped a year and a half, but it was not a teaser. You know, if anything, it might have been like maybe it was the cast photo of everyone sitting around the table with Mark, Carey, and Harrison and all the new cast. I don't know, but we haven't even gotten one of those, by the way, for The Mandalorian and Grogu. But we have for basically every other movie, including Starfighter, by the way, which is forever away still. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the first Mandalorian and Grogu trailer came out 5 months ago. Wasn't it more recent than that?
The date they in this, which we're coming back to again, they say it was September 22nd, which is exactly 8 months before the release. To the 8 months to the day. So now I don't know if again, to me anyway, does feel like, looking at it like in the fact, like, does feel like I don't want to say revisionist, because as long as the dates are accurate, it's not revisionist, but it is sort of revisionist correlation.
Yeah, and also all these
I
other.
think regardless of the time, they're dropping the ball hardcore with this. I don't really. It's kind of stunning to see something with this kind of potential box office power, and you're just like, and you've got Butterfingers. I don't know. It's just
Even if like the dates line up and the A2 rule has always been an internal thing that we just never sort of put the pieces of the puzzle together on, that doesn't excuse the lack of anything else. Because like Sean said, we had cons, we had appearances, there were panels, there were all sorts of things that would get our
Magazines.
appetites that would get our appetites wet heading into the films. Like, I mean, I could walk over and look at the date, but I'm pretty sure the Vanity Fair for episode 9 that I have sitting over on my dresser, I want to say that came out in the fall, like before the film came. I can't remember the release date for 9. Was 9 a fall or 9? Yeah, 9 was a December, so
Yeah,
I think it was a June maybe.
yeah.
Article.
Usually
It
these
was
magazines
about
have a
6
couple
months.
days.
It was about 6 months before the movie came out, if I recall correctly, from the Vanity Fair article. Like, there's nothing. There's been no TV appearances about this. There's been no,
You said it
teasers.
best in terms of like people showing their face. There's Sigourney Weaver, God bless her, who apparently is barely in the movie, by the way. Sorry, spoiler alert. And that's it. That's it. That's literally the only face you have seen that's not a puppet CGI character or a stuntman behind the Mando mask. Like, let me be perfectly clear. On May the 21st, the actual first day it'll be playing and when we'll be going to see it, I hope that we are sitting on air here and I'm eating a bunch of crow in terms of at least the quality of the movie. And I still think it could be a good movie. I do. But in terms of the way they're handling the marketing, I guarantee you they are shooting themselves in the foot. And you can forget $1 billion. This thing is going to be solo range if they don't find a way to do something that just blows up with a bang in the next few months, because it's utterly ridiculous. I don't want the movie to fail. We've gone how many years without a Star Wars movie? I want to take my kids to it. I want to have a good time. Um, that's why I'm pissed. I'm not pissed because I want to see Star Wars die or see a Lucasfilm Civil War or any of that nonsense. Not at all. But what I do want to see is a quality product that is treated properly. And Zach and I said for a while, and I started to have doubts on this, that, man, look at what Westeros is doing compared to some of the other shit. And this was during House of the Dragon. Then House of the Dragon's back half of the second season aired, and it was kind of like, I don't know. And then you see A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I don't think is the greatest thing ever. But seriously, look at the quality of product that's coming out from them. And then look at what Lucasfilm and most Marvel projects have done in recent time. And it's not good. I'm going to leave for good this time. As always, just because I don't like something doesn't mean it should damper your expectations for it. But I truly believe in what's left of my heart. If you are defending this marketing and saying this is the norm and that this is okay, you are part of the problem why we haven't seen enough change. Good night, fellas. Thanks for doing this, Zach. I know you're being a trooper.
I can feel your anger.
It gives you focus.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah,
Think
because I
so.
sure
How
as
are
hell
you?
I'm not going
For
to.
Randy- Randy's
for a
where
moment
Randy
there, I
says
was just like,
I love
wait a
you.
minute, no offense, but talk about hate fucking a trailer. Damn.
When we have a trailer, we'll hate fuck it.
That
wasn't a trailer.
you know what I mean. All right. So my initial thoughts were, wait, this is all we're gonna get, and it frustrated me. It annoyed me. Obviously, roughly, we'll say, 24 hours later, kind of sitting on it, thinking about it. I'm not a fan of what they did. I will say that I respect them taking a swing for the fences at something completely and totally different. I still don't agree with it, but it's not for me. The spot was not for me. The Super Bowl spot was not meant for me. It's not meant for Johnny. It's not meant for Dustin. It's not meant for Sean. And, it's not meant for Zach. It was truly meant for people who are just basically your randoms who see the stuff in the store and go, oh, I've seen that before. Hey, look, we're getting a movie. And that's about the extent of it. That's all it really was. It was a swing for the fences to try to get the filthy casual who doesn't love Star Wars but knows what Star Wars is to take a chance because they've seen Grogu everywhere. Again, does it work for the diehard fan or the lifelong fan or anybody, any part of the fandom? No, it really doesn't. But again, it's not for us. So, because after all the angry comments between at least the three of you, just the tearing it down, there's one key thing you have all said that proves their point. You're all going to go see it still regardless. And that's what they're counting on. So,
Yep.
but I also look at it as, think about it. It's the Super Bowl. You're looking at basically over 100+ million people, majority, everybody, a sports fan watching this thing. And why not tug at a little bit of nostalgia by throwing out their take on a Budweiser commercial, something that anybody our age range has seen many, many, many years. If you're a casual sports fan who that's all you do is watch the commercials, hey, maybe it piques your interest. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this thing makes a good amount of money. Maybe it doesn't. They did something different. Does it suck that we don't have an actual trailer? Yes. I would love to see something that gives me an idea of what the plot of the movie is. But you know what? Still going to go see it one way or another. It doesn't really, I'm not going to be angry about it because what good is that going to do? What good is that going to do? It doesn't change. It's not going to change the fact if I'm going to go see it or not. So I just figure, why not? Let's do your thing. We'll see what happens within the next month or so. If they really don't start putting out more stuff within the next month, okay, I'm going to be kind of going, what the hell? Because there's certain franchises, whether they suck or not, market the hell out of their movies. Oh, now he wants 1v1. Okay. It's easy to type behind the keyboard, asshole.
Bring him on. Let's do it right here, right now. I'll get ChatGPT to bring up some random ass questions.
I have been instructed to Negan you. That's a horrible take, Randy. I love you, buddy, but oh my god, comparing that to a home run swing
No, I
is
said a
like
swing for the fences. I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was a home run. I said it was a swing for the fences.
a swing for the fences implies a home run swing or taking. Like, I'm not saying they hit it. I'm saying it was they're taking. That was not a home run.
I'm saying. I'm not
That
saying it was a
was-
home run. I'm
that
saying
was
they
was a
were trying
dribbling
something
bunt in
different.
front of home plate, and that's
No,
being generous.
I'm
Like
just
that's
saying
a
they
that's a
took
bunt
swing. That's
pop
all
up
I
by the
said.
catcher. There's no
The
home
fact
run
that you,
cut.
the fact that
There's no home run swing in it. It's not. That wasn't a swing. It
The
was the
fact that you-
safest of safe takes. That was a sacrifice bunt at best, and it's
coming.
you're not
now
bringing
let's
in the
preface this
average
coming from the
fan.
most negative person in the room
I don't care.
in general.
It's fucking awful. That's not going to draw in the average fan. You have 100
And
million
yet
people
you're still
watching
going to go
this
see it regardless.
because I'm a Star Wars fan, Randy. I'm not the guy they're trying to attract.
Exactly.
I'm already in. This isn't about me. This is about the average fan, and you're not going to entice them with a fake Budweiser commercial. Show them some fucking action. Give them something to be like, wow, that looked fucking cool. Give them something great. This is a fucking character who literally has a jetpack strapped to his ass and can shoot the fucking eyeball off of a pen from fucking 100 yards away. Give us some goddamn action. Give us Grogu being cute. Like, not just sitting there looking up. This is a character who popped into the actual zeitgeist. This is a character that people literally would have looked at and be like, oh my God, that's Grogu, who've never seen a Star Wars movie in their life and did nothing more than that. Like, this was an opportunity to characterize on the most popular character in Star Wars, I'd argue, ever. And they did nothing with it. They provided zero action, zero interest, zero story, zero content. They didn't even have fucking the characters speaking. People are going to go into this and they're going to come out of it like, hey, where was Sam Elliott? Why wasn't Sam Elliott in this? Because that's what people are going to think. They're going to hear his voice narrating this trailer.
Right there?
And it
See
just...
that comment right there? I agree with it. And that was the whole point of what they were doing.
Was there beer in the commercial? I don't remember. It would have been great had they handed him Baby Grogu a beer and got
that would have been at least fun.
Really cool.
If they'd have done that, like, I'd have loved it. Like, if they'd have used that opportunity to have him pull out a fucking frog flask, like
with beer
the
in
frogs
it
from past seasons, and like have him just chug that back and do like an actual parody, I could have got behind that. But this was just a character sitting in a car doing nothing but being dragged forward 100 yards where Sam Elliott, who's not even in the fucking movie, narrates it.
Yeah, I wanted to see some beer. It would have been great to see like someone like Grogu take a sip of beer and then spit it out and then hear Mandalorian go, it's Budweiser. What do you expect?
I'm going to hold Randy responsible for this because Zach's going to have Sir Ill and Pain take my head in a second. So once I'm done saying this, I'm quite literally turning my phone off and I'm going to put you guys on my TV so I can't communicate anymore.
Tauntauns are cool.
Call bullshit.
And I am. I
want to make them.
Yes, what she said.
Liar!
Look, Randy 99% of the time has way better takes than Johnny. Sorry, Johnny, it's how I feel. But on this day, it's almost like what's that movie that Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan switch bodies? Is that what's happened? Freaky Friday? Well, it's Freaky fucking Monday, apparently, because, oh my God, that is the worst take I have ever heard you have on anything ever, period. And you said it yourself. They already have us, and you were right about that. That part, you're right, and I am going to go see it. In fact, I'm probably have to see the fucking thing twice, even if it's bad, because I promised my kids I'd go, and they can't go opening night. But you just said it wasn't for us. So what did that trailer commercial do to generate buzz with the casual fan base? The average going moviegoer. Do you see it blowing up on social media? How about X? How about Facebook? How about Instagram? MySpace? I don't even know if that's still fucking running. It doesn't hit. It's bad. It's terrible. And if I'm wrong, I will finally do the fucking Hot Ones thing live on cam on a week where I'm not having any chest difficulty. Or I'm
I was
just
about to say, I don't know if your heart could handle that shit.
Just need a big glass of white milk with me. Maybe a jug. Um, look,
I don't know if he'll survive the rest of the campaign, to be honest.
it's don't say that. I don't want that. But yeah, I don't see how this appealed to the average going fan in any way, because if it did, this thing would be blowing up everywhere. And you said like the is it I'm a spooky kitty in the comment section? They're entitled to their opinion. Everybody is. Doesn't mean they're right, but everybody is. People are going to flock to go see it because Grogu's in it. When's the last time anything new of Grogu came out? How many years are we at now? 3? 3.5 by the time the movie comes out? That time has passed. They've missed their window. And I've been saying that for a year already. Zach, don't take my head. Have a
If
good
they'd
show.
have turned season 2 into the movie, then that statement is accurate. 1,000%. 5-6 years later, I don't think it is now. The kids have moved on to something new.
I know I've moved on to Game of Thrones. That's why I've been so quiet tonight. Like,
Well, and I'll just say this for my final words. We can mark this, and then lo and behold, if I end up being right and the rest of you are going to be wrong, you'll never hear the end of it. Just letting you know.
I would love for that to be the case. I'll say it again. I'd love that to be true. I'd love this to be a top 3 Star Wars film. But that expectation is long gone out the window, and I'll be happy if this thing's better. I will be that excited if this thing's better than Solo.
I mean, I don't think it has anything like.
How dare you, sir? Solo was actually a pretty decent movie. Just because it
In
suffered from
hindsight, yes, I'll agree with that.
it
In
did suffer
hindsight, it
from
is
Star
better.
Wars fatigue because it came out
absolutely
so closely right after The Last Jedi. That hurt that film a lot.
Absolutely did.
I mean, we're not talking about quality. I mean, we're just talking about like just the fact that they're not really putting it out there. And I mean, yeah, it's a lot of trailers and stuff have to cater to fans that are not diehard fans of that media, right? Like a Halloween trailer, right? You have people that are hardcore; they're going to see it regardless of what you show, what they know about it. It's how you market it to the rest of the casual viewers out there, the many people that may not know about this and say, "Hey, I'm going to go see this thing. It interests me." And they just haven't done that yet. And I still think it'll do okay because it's a Star Wars movie. But I just think we expect more, and it'll be crazy on opening night if people are like, "Yeah, I really saw that Super Bowl commercial, and it really made me want to go see the movie." And Randy will be there just cheering. Yeah, I knew it. But yeah, Zach, we haven't heard what you thought of it, and this is where you say you loved it, and Sean gets right back on.
I mean, he very well might. So my perspective is twofold. Um, Perspective number one is maybe like 50%, 60% along the lines of what Randy had already said. It doesn't really matter, at least for me personally, what gets put out and what doesn't, because I'm gonna go see it. Like for me personally, I'm more ambivalent. I'm more passive towards, what response I give to what happens on Super Bowl Sunday, because I I had no expectations for the Super Bowl. I had no expectations for the movie. So I don't know if that's low expectations or just don't give a fuck, or maybe it's a little of both. Um, but I wasn't expecting them to, drop 20-30 million dollars on a 60-second TV spot um that was clips from the movie or what have you. Like that's not a good use of your marketing budget. So I wasn't really expecting much of anything. And that's kind of along the lines of what I think about the movie. I don't expect much from the movie, but I'm still going to go see it. And I have wondered for years what it would be like for a feature length film from a major studio to do as little as possible on their marketing and see how much they make from it. The way I see it, Lucasfilm and Disney are kind of eating this movie. Like, rather than shit canning it, they're just gonna put it out there and see what happens. And, that's a better treatment than something like Coyote versus Acme got a couple of years ago. They saw the writing on the wall with that film and decided to just scrap the whole project and write it off for taxes. At least they're not doing that with this movie. Um, so it's kind of feeding that curiosity that I've had lingering for years. What would a Marvel movie do at the box office if you didn't have Captain America on every ad, on every social media platform, everywhere? Like, would it still make money just because you say Avengers coming out in December and people have a date and they go and they watch it? That's along the lines of what they're doing with this movie. They've given it a date and there's a little bit out there, but it's not a whole lot. But we've all conceded already tonight that we're all going to go see it at least once or twice. And I don't know if Disney and Lucasfilm don't care about this movie, or if it's a social experiment, or maybe it's a little of both. But Star Wars is absolutely one of those big properties along the lines of Marvel where you could perform an experiment like this and still make back your budget. You put anything in the Star Wars name, you put that logo on anything, it's going to make money. And so part of me feels like they're considering this a tax write-off. Part of me thinks it's a social experiment. But either way, I I don't know if I mind it. It's like, yeah, okay. You did that for me. I'm still going to pay the 20 bucks, 20 plus bucks to go see whatever the hell this is, whether it's good or not. I'm still going to go see it. So part of me is like, whatever. Now, the other part of me is seeing a lot of similarities to the way that they're marketing this film to the way that Lilo and Stitch was marketed way back in 2002. If you recall, they did crossover trailers and crossover elements that just included Stitch appearing in The Lion King, or he just appeared on the rock in the Little Mermaid, or he was crawling around on the ceiling while Beauty and the Beast were dancing. That was his teaser trailers for the longest time. It was just this weird ass looking cute alien creature that's already, part of established IPs and just kind of showing up and causing havoc and mayhem. We've got a cute little character that's part of a well-established IP that is making glorified appearances in little TV spots. He's not necessarily crossing over with Disney films, but there are similarities, and this Bud Light style commercial is just one of the other examples. If you're going to do something during the Super Bowl, do something that is in the vein, that is in the likeness of something that is already established. Everybody knows about the Clydesdale commercials. If they didn't, they wouldn't have made this TV spot in the first place. So everybody who watches the Super Bowl knows about the Clydesdales. And they took an established precedent and put a spin of their own IP on it and included a cute little character. That's all they fucking needed to do. That's all they needed. They didn't have to do more. They didn't have to do less. They did exactly what was expected of them. They did stuff that was pertaining to the Super Bowl, and they did stuff that was pertaining to a cute fuzzy character in their IP. It seems like the bare minimum, maybe, but that's what they needed to do. And if we're going to do a Lilo and Stitch comparison, which some people online have done, the full feature-length trailer for that movie, outside of the crossover teasers that they did with Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, etc., did not release until the 12th of March. which is another month away for us. So if they are following in the footsteps of what became an iconic film and they're trying to do something in a similar process, then we're probably not getting a trailer for at least another month. My guess, we'll get one when they do Disney Pixar's Hoppers in a month because that ties into their IP and it doesn't cost them like it does a Super Bowl trailer. I would bet hard money that we get a full trailer that people can sit down and watch in the movie theaters when they go to watch another Disney IP. So I'm okay with what they did for the Super Bowl. It keeps them relevant. People are talking about it. Obviously, we spent almost an hour talking about it here. And if we're going along the lines of the way that they did with Lilo and Stitch, then I bet we get a trailer next month when Hoppers comes out on March 8th.
Glad to see I wasn't the only one that at least had a semi-positive take on this.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I kind of halfway hoped that there would be more,
I think
but
we all did, for sure.
but I understand why they didn't. Super Bowl commercials are fucking expensive. They're ridiculous.
Looks like it was on average it was like 8 million, between 8 and 10 million. The premium slots were 10 million plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's crazy, crazy money. Now, I will tell you, somebody who did win the Super Bowl with commercials this year was Xfinity. I fucking loved the Xfinity Jurassic Park commercial, but I'm a dino nerd. So
The
my
Duncan one was pretty damn good too.
my perspective's a little slanted. Duncan was pretty good. I did like the Duncan one. But I always love what if scenarios. I love the
Right.
hypotheticals. And in the movie, Ian Malcolm says, "Remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend." And he's being sarcastic, obviously. In this little, revisionist thing, he's like, "Oh, this is actually a lovely weekend." And instead of looking at a great big pile of shit, he looks at a great big pile of shrimp. His dream, Hammond's vision comes to reality all because they bought Xfinity. Like that's a really, really clever way to combine IPs and to have Taika Waititi as the director for it, and for them to rebuild the sets because they didn't have the existing sets, locked away anymore. They went through a lot of care and detail to make that an accurate portrayal. And so I really appreciated how much effort was put into Xfinity's Jurassic Park crossover.
I can't comment it, but that's because Canadian. I haven't seen it yet.
But yeah, that's really all I've got for Star Wars. It's gonna sell a bunch of toys.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they're gonna sell a shit ton of Hasbro Tauntauns now, and they'll come up with like collector's edition sleighs and whatever. Because you can't buy them in a whole package. You got to buy individual Tauntauns. So you got to buy each one of the 4 individually, and then you got to buy the sleigh, and then you might have to buy Mando and Grogu separately as well. Like they're gonna make a fortune off of the toys alone from this 30-second spot. So yeah, maybe they didn't give us a trailer, but I think they're still gonna profit off of it.
I'll say this and then move on because I gotta step away. But 24 hours, this trailer has been on YouTube. 3 million hits, 16,000 thumbs up, 3,000 comments. That just feels grossly underwhelming for a Star Wars thing. It's just based on pure numbers. Like, I know it's not like the barometer of fact or anything, like, but in the era of bots and things of that nature, 16,000 thumbs up in one day. Now, obviously, it doesn't post the negative numbers. I'd like to see those. because nobody's gonna bot the negatives, but the positives they will. I don't know, man. 16,000 thumbs up and only 3,000 comments, and 90% of them are ha ha ha. This is funny and not good funny. This is a Budweiser commercial. Where's the Bud? This is a Ford F-150 commercial. You know, things like that. Like it's, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know. I think it was garbage, and I don't think they should have done it at all. I think this was a waste of 8 figures. You know, this is $10+ million that could have been spent in some other form, and I think they could have just re-aired the teaser trailer from the first time if this was all they were going to do. I think that's my thought on this. But I don't know. I'm going to step out, so it has been an experience tonight. I'll say that. But we'll see you guys next week. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. Reminds me of an
See you, man.
episode of The Sopranos that I watched recently. Oh, there it is.
And then there were 3.
Oh, man. Do we dare talk about Game of Thrones, or do we save that for when we've got a full cast?
I mean, I know Sean probably had a lot to say, but obviously with him not feeling the best, we won't get his perspective on it. Then I've already seen your take on it technically to some degree in the chat, but we could save it. I'm fine with that. I mean, I feel like, I'll just say that I felt it was definitely a great episode that's setting up something epic, and that I can't wait to see it, because but it's crazy to me that we have essentially 2 episodes to basically have this one epic moment. And yeah, I even got a little emotional at the end of it, just because of how things ended up unfolding. So the show did exactly what it needed to do to set up the final 2 episodes.
I mentioned to Sean, like, he wishes it was 20 minutes longer. I think if this episode is 20 minutes longer, we only get 4 or 5 episodes instead of 6.
Yeah, I think I felt like it could have been longer too, but again, they have it paced out to what they think they need to do for the episodes to make the episodes they needed to. But for what that episode was, it was great. It was not only just setting stuff up, but just some of the revelations that are revealed in it. It would be nice to have a full, group of people. I mean, I am not a hardcore Game of Thrones fan. Again, I've watched Game of Thrones. I haven't seen House of the Dragon, but there was still moments in here where my mind just was like, wait, and I connected dots, and it was really awesome that they were able to do that, because I think they made it so that if someone like me could understand it, then others would be able to, either it would be very obvious or have that excitement like I did. So yeah, it was a great episode. I would like to, I'm up for whatever. We can discuss it. We can wait till next week to have everyone else give their thoughts as well.
I mean, we can try to do some somewhat spoiler-free / mild spoilers, just to kind of close things out, and then tease what the future discussions are going to be, I suppose. I think you mentioned at one point, Dustin, that you hadn't really put the dots together of the last episode, that who Egg truly was. He reveals himself in the past episode, and then he's actually acting as a prince in this episode. How jarring was that? Not only the revelation, but then seeing him like actually acting as a prince instead of a squire and a stable boy.
Yeah, it was just interesting because like I was like, okay, I think I now know who he was, and maybe I knew who he was, but just the fortune teller's thing when she talks to Dunk and then she
Mhm.
talks to Egg, and how Dunk is just sitting there laughing like like that was great. You just like clowned on him for no reason, but you realize like, oh no, that's very true. And then it was more like, okay, he's this is his lineage, and I'm starting to think about like what happens to him and what they showed subtle hints like with the jousting where he was super into it and like almost like a blood rage was getting into it, and then also with him saying that he wished his brother was dead, like he would kill him if he could if he could. So you see like some of the seeds there, but it was just really, it was great to be able to see that scene, those scenes, recall the other scenes, and then find out like just seeing like where does it go wrong for him? Like how does this kid become so like his time with Dunk, and if that continues, what does that mean for him? And does in Dunk's revelation, like how far along, like it has me more interested into the future of potential more seasons of this. Maybe not like 20, but definitely got me excited for a potential of Dunk's relationship with Egg continuing on in the future, and where they go together, and what happens to Egg that makes him go on his path.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to keep biting my tongue because I've read the source material, so I kind of have an idea of where it's headed. I haven't read the second novella yet, so I still have a bit more to get through. But
And the
uh,
second novella is a continuation from the first, a direct continuation.
yes,
Okay.
well, I think there is a bit of a time jump, but it's a sequel story.
Okay.
It's a continuation. So that what you're hoping for, that continuation of their dynamic, it does happen, but the way in which it happens, um and what their dynamic looks like based on this revelation, those are all things that get explored from what I understand. So, like, is there a power shift now where it's not just, a young knight and a stable boy? It's, you know, the adventures of a knight with a prince of the kingdom. Like, what is the pressure involved in that? What is the responsibility involved in that? If the prince decides he wants to do something else, can he overrule the knight he serves, type of thing? So
Yeah,
there's like,
that power dynamic
yeah,
between those two. Um,
yeah,
no, great. It was just a fantastic episode, though. Just the scale, the what it sets up. The acting was great, and just like Randy, you said, some of the moments, especially at the end, really made you. It's just one of those moments of like you see the dynamics of what things could be and how they should be in an ideal world, about honor and what the knights are meant to do and serve and what they've become, and seeing what usually happens to good people in this world, and having kind of that spark of hope of this character, of like someone that stands for honor. And yeah, it was really powerful, especially the end, with who joins him and the conversation that happens. Like I was totally at first, when they made kind of light of the situation and that scene happens, and then they get into the point where the other person joins him. I was completely shocked by that. I thought it was well executed.
yeah. Randy, did you see that last appearance coming, or was that a surprise for you as well?
It was definitely it was a welcome surprise, actually. I honestly I feel like they kind of hinted at it, and I just missed it because looking back at the episode, I feel like you could tell that something like that could happen, but I was kind of counting on, like, based on relationships he's made and people he's spoken with and how he's acted, and I figured there would be more to that in terms of, like, by the end versus just a few brief discussions he's had with just a couple of different individuals that ended up leading to what we got at the end there. And I thought it was, and I know Sean was like, "Hey, mild spoilers here," but having another one of those bodily function moments to kind of bring some levity to a
Mhm.
situation, because
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
always going to be someone who's going to laugh at that. But then
I mean,
you're
I
up,
did.
you're up here, and then all of a sudden they're like, "By the way, let me just smack you straight in the face with this revelation right here." Now, for you, you knew it was coming, so obviously for you, it's more like, "Yep, okay, cool. This is how they're bringing this about." For us, who never read the source material, it's okay. We're here, and all of a sudden you're just like, "Holy shit!" And you're just
Mhm.
that one little tear that wells up in your eye because you got the music swelling and you got the look between the two, and you're just like, "Oh yeah, this is about to get good." And then of course fade to black, and you're like, "Damn it!"
Mhm.
So, so they definitely played that off pretty well. As far as Egg goes, it was definitely interesting seeing him be a prince, but yet still Egg. Like the character, and you look back and it's like he's always been that character, but but he hit it well enough with just a little bit of nuance that you didn't really think about the fact that he's a Targaryen, but yet you just see him how he interacts in general, even after he's wearing, his regal attire. He really didn't change. The character was always there. He was always front and center, and it's only once you see a change in garb that you kind of go, "Holy shit."
Right.
So that very well written, very well acted, but that kid, damn, he's done an amazing job so far. And I really am, like I said, I'm stoked for these last two episodes, just how everything sets up. uh Sunday can't come soon enough when it comes to seeing this first part of basically essentially what I would consider a finale, because I feel like it's a two-parter at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it will be. I think that's an accurate assessment. I think the first two episodes were the ones that were kind of building the world and building the characters. The middle two episodes are the conflict that arises, and then the final two episodes will be like the resolution of sorts. So, and honestly, in spite of it being, mostly half-hour episodes, I kind of appreciate that that's the type of storytelling that they're doing. They're taking time to build the world. They're taking time to appreciate you being in the world and then experiencing that conflict in it, and then giving it a couple of episodes to reach its full conclusion without trying to compress 2 30-minute somethings into 55 minutes of one episode or something. Scenes would get cut that way, and I don't think it would have quite the depth or the impact. I know that part of it is them milking it for an extra week or two, which is understandable, but so far I think I've appreciated what they've done and appreciated the balance that they've been able to strike.
Yeah, I think um, I've actually grown the 30-minute episodes have grown on me because you get an hour of something, you're like, okay, that satiated you till the next week. I think that this format with kind of their cliffhangers really does make you okay, like I've got to absolutely see this when it first drops. Like I don't want to wait a couple days to see what happens. So it definitely has had the impact of, you know, getting me excited for what next week brings. And I felt like, given it's hard for them, right? Because they have Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, that format, for them to go against that format with and really not only just saying, hey, look, this material is different. It's not only just the different material, but it's also the different format. So I think they had to do this. If they're going to do other things like this, it shows that, does this work? Can it be viable in the future? And can this work and in a smaller format? And I think it's showing it can. What stories they tell, is to be seen. But for a first show to be a spinoff like this, is to be such a drastic change, it just seems like, and I still have to watch House of the Dragon, which I've heard really good things. I think it's pretty hard to be able to do that, to take a excuse me, a established format and change it up.
You're not catching whatever I ended up having, are you?
No, I don't think so. Just had a frog in my throat.
Speaking of frog, anybody catch the new Muppet Show on Disney?
I have not.
Can't say that I have.
It apparently, I don't know how this ended up on my algorithm, but it's been a source of heated contention. Some people loved it, and some people hated it. And one of the things that they hate is whoever the new puppeteer / voice of Kermit is, because Steve Whitmire got fired a few years back, and they just hadn't done very much with Muppets, period, since his firing. And now they're reviving this old show with a new voice actor, and they are not very happy with it. So it's
what have you seen it? What's your take? Your hot take?
I've seen a few clips. I haven't been able to sit down and see the whole thing. I am not a fan of Sabrina Carpenter, and they picked her as their first celebrity guest. So I don't have a huge incentive to go watch it, other than my brother told me that he liked it, so I may go see it just so that he and I have something to talk about. But for me personally, I think I'm gonna watch Starfleet Academy and Night of the Seven Kingdoms before I watch regular episodes of the Muppets, especially if the main character has a voice that doesn't sound like his own. Like that doesn't sound like something I would enjoy very much anyways.
That's what happens when you bring in Patrick Mahomes to try to do Kermit's voice, I mean.
He is he is Kermit personified.
As for Starfleet Academy, I've been pretty into it until this last episode. It almost lost me.
Really? The Deep Space Nine tribute episode?
I mean, that part of it I enjoyed, but it's, for me, I was like going, why is everybody hating on this episode? Because I saw a lot of backlash, being divisive, which there are some elements of it I understand, but I don't care. This is one of those ones where, for me, I didn't see enough of the main character, because I actually really enjoyed watching Jaden grow as a character, and then to have this episode, and I just kind of went, okay, this is a little too in my face. But again, I know I'm not going to like every episode. That I'm not going to be all like, holy hell, this is amazing. My wife has been absolutely loving the series so far. So, and I've enjoyed it for what it is, just because I've always been huge into Star Trek. So, but I also look at it as, this is kind of, to some degree, this is kind of what Gene Roddenberry was looking at in terms of what he thought Star Trek should be and what it should represent. So, I can't say it's against his vision. So, but all in all, I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed it for the most part. This one episode just wasn't for me, even though I loved the DS9 callbacks.
See, what's funny is that was probably my favorite episode of the season so far. So much so that I reached out to my dad and my sister, and we're gonna get together on Wednesday night, and we're all gonna watch it together. They haven't seen it yet, but we're all huge DS9 fans. And I read some of the behind the scenes and saw some like making of info about it, and the amount of detail and the amount of respect that they paid to the show and to Avery Brooks in particular is definitely noteworthy. They made sure to greenlight every aspect of his name, his likeness, like everything that they did. They ran it by him first before they put it in the show. And so, like, they had direct contact with the guy. Even if they didn't get him to make a cameo in the episode, they had direct communication with him and got his blessing not only to do the episode, but for the different elements that were included in the episode as well. So I really appreciated how much care they put into it, because it would be very easy to do something like that in a sloppy way. And it was very clear that they took a lot of care so that that didn't happen.
And I will admit the reveal at the end was pretty badass.
Yes. Yes, that's part of why I want to watch it with my family, cuz I want their jaws to drop a little bit the way that mine did. I was like, that's really special. It probably goes against the canon a little bit as far as lifespans go,
Right.
but I don't really care. It was fun.
No, it was. They did a really great job of really not even giving that hint that that's who that was, and
Right.
to have the reveal at the end, they did.
Yep.
Like I said, they did a great job with that.
Yep. Yep. Prodigy was a little bit of a love letter to Voyager, and this episode was a love letter to DS9. So Star Trek has gotten to the point where their newer shows are now able to pay respects and homage to their predecessor IPs, and I think that's really special, because I think the only time that you've really had that was kind of when Next Generation had some cameos in their first couple of episodes that was like a passing of the baton from the original series over to TNG. But aside from that, there hasn't been a whole lot of self referencing that's gone on very much. And I could think of one instance where Discovery tied into the old Enterprise series on UPN. But aside from that, it hasn't been very self referential. And I think that's cool. Okay. Well, y'all, we've been on here for about an hour 20, and we don't want to give away too much about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Dustin, I know that that little discussion on Star Trek may not have been in your wheelhouse. Is there anything that you would like to touch on before we call it a night?
The last thing I was thinking of the Super Bowl stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is the trailer for Scream 7, or I think Scream 7.
Mm-hmm.
I know we do a horror segment. Sean will have more information about Halloween news and stuff next week.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of excited for Scream 7. What I've seen from that has not really got me all that excited. Kind of, I would like to, maybe we'll touch on that more next week, but it's a movie I was looking forward to, but the more I'm seeing from it, the more I'm just kind of like, maybe I'm out of it now. Like, I think it needs to be the end, because some of the stuff they're putting out there with the same characters, it's kind of just getting ridiculous. So, but I don't know if any of you are Scream, if you, Zach, or Randy, are Scream fans, but I have not really liked what they've put out for the information for Scream 7.
I mean, I'll go see it just because I know, we'll do a review of some sort with some of us. I don't know who all is going to go see it, but I mean, I've caught up on the series. Like I had let it kind of just slide for the longest time. Like the last one I had seen before I started really catching up on it was 2, and some of it was good. Some of it I was like, what the hell are they doing? And then I kind of got bored with it a little bit by the end, but I'm gonna, they've piqued my interest in the sense of like, bringing back Matthew Lillard and trying to figure out how they're gonna manage that.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm a huge Ice Nine Kills fan, and they're gonna have some sort of involvement, whether it's a music video or something else. So that's kind of cool for me. So I'm gonna be real curious to see if it's just like a music video or something. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I mean, I think like you, I feel like we're getting to the point where something needs to change, whether we kill off a few more main characters and really truly pass the baton, or just finally say, this is it. This is going to be the final one.
Yeah. You get to the point where how many times can Sydney have to go through the same crap over and over and over again? And then you have characters like Gale Weathers, who they're like in the trailer showing that she's back to her old ways. I'm like, how many times have we done the good Gale, bad Gale, good Gale, bad Gale? So it's like, come on, like, can we? And I think the thing I'm most excited about is Matthew Lillard being back, but I have a feeling it's going to be similar to how they handled Skeet Ulrich's character. And I'm just kind of like, if they were going to do it, I wanted them to go back to a more like similar way to they did the first movie, to be the ending and have Stu be the main killer. But I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's what they're going for. But man, that's what I wanted from this, and don't think we're going to get that. And that's okay. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about that maybe at another time. But that's something I was hyped for and was kind of bummed out by when I saw the Super Bowl trailer, which I'm surprised they spent the money for a Super Bowl trailer, but given the costs.
You still planning on seeing it, or has the material that you've seen kind of made you think that you'll wait for it to stream?
I honestly, I'll probably wait for it to stream unless it gets positive buzz. Yeah, I mean, I went and saw 27 years later in theaters, and then Bone Temple came out, and I really wanted to see it, and then I've heard great things about that and haven't seen it. So it'll just come down to how much free time I have during that. But I think I'll probably wait for it to be on stream unless it gets really positive buzz. Then I may want to go see it in theaters. But I see so few movies in theaters nowadays that when I do get the chance, it's like I want to really be invested in it. So we'll see, but not super excited to see it now.
That's fair. My wife and I saw Bone Temple, and I think our consensus was that I think we enjoyed the first one a little bit more. But
Okay.
that doesn't take away from some of the big moments that do take place in the sequel. It's a very different tone of film. It's an immediate follow-up, but the type of story that it tells is very different from the first movie. So
yeah, I can tell that from the trailer.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes, I love him. So, anything with him, I'm just like, yeah, I want to see more of him. And I mean, even in 27 years later, the ending scene of that movie was like, whoa, we're going in a kind of a way different direction. So I kind of like that. I'm like, I'm okay with like a big swerve here at the end, and then going into a totally different tonal movie and then switching again. So that to me is like, if you can do it properly, it's a hard thing to do again, but if you can do it, I'm all for it.
I think they did it. I think they did. It's just, it's not the same movie. It's the same characters, but it's definitely not the same movie. But what's her name from Solo? Erin Kellyman, something like that. Enfys Nest.
Okay, yeah.
She's in this movie. She's one of the co-stars, and she crushes it. She does a really, really good job. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna catch that eventually once it's streaming because I missed it. I mean, I think it's still out in theaters, but
it's tough to find. It's tough to find. We've got like 3 movie theaters that are like a half hour or less away from where we live. There's one that's like literally like 2 minutes right down the street, but it's only 8 screens and one of them's a Dolby, so it's really only showing like super recent releases and popular stuff. The stuff that's been out for a while, you got to go travel a little further out to find it. And it took us a while. It was us and 2 other people in a screen with like 20 seats. So like it's really taken a back seat at this point.
yeah,
It's been out
it's
over
hard
a month, so or close to
Mm.
a month, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Which means you're not going to be waiting that much longer for whatever streaming platform takes it. And
Yeah,
if you do, I would at least recommend watching with the lights off so you can kind of like simulate the movie experience.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's-
there's some thematic elements that I believe take place at night in that film. So it's a little more fun with the lights off than lights on. I'll put it that way. But speaking of lights off, my voice is about to be lights off. I don't know if you can hear it starting to scratch and get gravelly a little bit. This is the most I've stretched it over a 90-minute span since I got sick. So unless y'all
Put some
have
honey on that bitch.
yeah, for real. For real. Unless y'all have anything else that you would like to cover, maybe an hour and a half in is a pretty decent
Yep.
stopping point.
Nah, I think we're good. You know, once everybody's back and healthier, and we can really break down 2 episodes of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and you know, maybe we'll get some more news about when we might see a trailer, a legit trailer for Mando and Grogu, and
see,
maybe
you just
there'll be
had to
even-
bring it up. Now Sean's probably
And now he's gonna
getting
jump
his phone
he's
back
gonna
on.
he's gonna jump back in again. Yep. Well, Dustin, Randy, it's been a pleasure. Sean, you were here. Johnny, for everybody else here at Fandom Empire Live, I'm Zach saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for more epic discussions, including the next episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But until then, good night.
Just kidding.
that awkward pause is wait to see if Sean's paying attention to end things.
He said he was going to have us on his TV. I told you that was bullshit.
He's watching the Mandalorian and Grogu teaser yet again.
He's watching the TV spot. He's doing a frame by frame analysis.
Then he's going to come back and say, you know what? I was wrong. Tauntauns are amazing.
It actually was good. It made me want a beer. It made me want space beer. Whatever the local Corellian ale is.
Definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, why is there no beer? Like, I guess maybe they, for kids, they didn't want to be whatever. But I mean, it would have at least kind of been the final like execution. So
Oh, he's back.
Oh, yeah.
You were right.
His ears were burning.
Sean the Tauntaun is here. Shanton.
Shanton. It's the Sean. I wanted to make another joke. Sean Binks or something like that.
Why say you not like Tauntauns?